General Hospital spoilers for Friday feel like someone shook the entire town of Port Charles and just let the pieces fall wherever they wanted. Nothing is gentle. Nothing is slow. It is all very blunt, very in your face, and honestly, I kind of prefer it that way because at least nobody can pretend they did not see it coming. Let's start with Isaiah, because this is not a small detail. This is the detail that shifts everything in Portia's world and especially in Trina's. Isaiah is now confirmed as the father of Portia's new baby. Not rumored, not whispered about in corners, confirmed. Which means he is officially Trina's stepfather. Which means Trina is about to have a baby brother or sister whether she feels emotionally prepared or not. And I keep thinking about that word prepared because life does not really care about preparation. It just happens. Isaiah might come into this conversation with a kind of steel in his voice. I can picture it. He reminds everyone that what happened is already in the past. There is no changing it. There is no undo button. The baby is coming. He is the father. They are a family now. End of discussion. And I actually think that approach might backfire with Trina. Because when you are young and someone older tells you this is reality, accept it. It feels suffocating. Even if they are right, Trina might feel cornered. She might feel like her emotions are irrelevant in this equation. And in a way they are. The biological fact is done. But emotionally, she is still processing. She might not want to share her mother with a new child. She might not want Isaiah in that role. She might still be adjusting to everything that happened before this. It is a lot. It is not just one change. It is multiple changes stacked on top of each other. And here is where I think things get messy in a very human way. Trina could decide she wants to live with Curtis instead, her biological father. The one connection that feels solid, even if it is not perfect. It would be a reaction that comes from emotion, not logic. Almost like she is saying, fine, if this is how it is, I will remove myself. I will choose the parent who does not come with a brand new baby and a stepfather I did not ask for. But Curtis is not exactly standing in a calm, neutral place either. There is the possibility that he might choose to reunite with Jordan, his ex-wife. And that is another complicated thread. If Curtis remarries Jordan, what does that mean for Trina if she moves in? Is she escaping tension at Portia's house only to walk into a different kind of adjustment? I do not think this is going to be the clean solution she hopes for. Still, I cannot blame Trina for wanting control over something, anything. When your family structure shifts overnight, even small decisions feel like acts of rebellion or survival. Isaiah may think he is being firm and responsible, but firmness can look like coldness. And Trina is not going to respond well to coldness right now. Meanwhile, on the more dangerous side of town, Sidwell and Cullum are not waiting around. They know they need to act immediately. A war is not brewing quietly anymore. It's basically announced without being spoken out loud. They are targeting Jason and Sonny. And I have a strong feeling they know Jason and Sonny are targeting them too. It is mutual awareness, mutual hostility. Nobody is underestimating anyone. Jason and Sonny have survived too many battles to be careless. They are strategic. They are patient when they need to be, but they are also ruthless when pushed. Sidwell and Cullum stepping into direct conflict with them is bold, maybe reckless, maybe calculated. I go back and forth on that. Britt becomes this strange center point in all of it. She is not a mob boss. She is not calling the shots, but she is being pulled between sides, Jason's side, Cullum's side. It feels almost unfair. She becomes a prize in a game she did not design, and that never ends well in Port Charles. Cullum might believe he has the advantage right now. Maybe he has information that Jason does not. Maybe he has positioned himself in a way that gives him leverage, but Jason is not someone who accepts being cornered. If Jason decides Cullum needs to disappear permanently, I truly believe he would make it happen without hesitation. There is something about Jason's loyalty that turns very dark when it is threatened. And Britt, she is worried. Not just generally worried, specifically worried about someone's life. It could be Marco, it could be Lucas. Both possibilities are dangerous for different reasons. Lucas knows too much. That alone is a death sentence in some circles. Sidwell does not tolerate loose ends. If Lucas has information that could expose him or disrupt his plans, Lucas becomes a liability. Marco's situation is even more disturbing. Marco is Sidwell's son, his own son, but I do not think that guarantees safety. If anything, it might complicate things. Because if Marco knows something, or if Marco is perceived as weak, Sidwell might see him as expendable. That sounds cruel, but Sidwell has shown he values control above everything, even blood ties. The idea that a father would harm his own son to protect a larger scheme is dark, but this show thrives in dark territory. Brit sensing that danger, feeling it creeping closer, that makes her anxiety understandable. She might feel helpless. Watching two sides prepare for battle while knowing the people she cares about are in the line of fire. Then we shift into politics, which honestly is not that different from mob warfare in this town. Diane does not want Alexis to obsess over winning the Senate seat. On the surface, Alexis seems to have a solid path. Laura supports her. That endorsement matters. It carries weight, but Laura is being blackmailed, and Alexis does not know. That is the part that makes this so tense, because Alexis might be building her campaign on a foundation that is already cracking. If Lara is forced to nominate someone else, Alexis could lose everything overnight. And imagine the humiliation, not just losing, but losing without understanding why, believing you had support, only to watch it vanish. I think Diane senses something is off. Diane is perceptive. She notices changes in tone and body language. If Laura starts pulling away, even subtly, Diane will pick up on it. If Diane discovers the blackmail, that opens a completely different storyline. It stops being about winning a seat and starts being about exposing corruption. And that would be classic Diane. Fierce, protective, strategic. And then we circle back to Sidwell again, because somehow he is woven into everything. He has a discussion with Willow, and this conversation could determine the political future of Port Charles. Sidwell might be positioning Willow to take the vacant Senate seat left behind by Drew. That is not small. That is huge. But nothing Sidwell offers is free. If Willow accepts his support, she will owe him. She will have to work with him, maybe for him. That is the unspoken contract. He helps her rise, she helps him maintain influence. It is transactional, cold. Willow seems hesitant, and I respect that. She knows Sidwell is dangerous. She knows he has his own agenda, but she also knows she needs stability. She needs backing. In a world where alliances determine survival, going it alone is risky. I find myself conflicted about Willow's potential choice. On one hand, aligning with Sidwell feels like stepping into a trap. On the other hand, power rarely comes to those who refuse every compromise. Maybe she convinces herself she can control the situation. Maybe she believes she can use Sidwell without being used. That kind of thinking usually ends badly. So Friday is not just about one reveal or one confrontation. It is about shifts. Isaiah asserting his role, Trina resisting it. Curtis possibly reshaping his own future with Jordan. Sidwell and Cullum escalating toward Jason and Sonny. Britt fearing for Marco or Lucas. Alexis unknowingly standing on unstable ground. Diane watching carefully. Willow hovering at the edge of a decision that could define her career and her soul. I do not see easy resolutions here. I see arguments. I see betrayals. I see people making choices out of fear, pride, love, ambition, sometimes all at once. And that is what makes it compelling. Not because it is clean storytelling, but because it is messy. People rarely make perfect decisions. They react, they defend, they push back. Isaiah thinks truth should settle everything. It will not. Trina thinks distance might solve her pain. It probably will not. Sidwell thinks control is power. That might be true until someone more ruthless decides to challenge him. And in the middle of all of it, Port Charles keeps spinning. No pause, no reset, just consequences waiting to land.